Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here. And, of course, I'm joined, as always, with both of my co-hosts, Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion. Y'all heard it at the top. Yaxel. Let's go, baby.
I was on mute.
Oh, you are. That's okay. But, hey, a bad toe ain't stopping him, man. Let's go. Hey, go ahead and get in the back and get that steroid shot. He bad. He beast mode, baby.
I will give you all my toes if you are going to be good tomorrow.
Please.
We will donate a toe.
Ooh, yeah. So start the fundraiser.
Yeah, put it in NIL, our NIL collective. We might not raise enough money, but baby, we can get a toe.
Well, hey, somebody spare some toes somewhere. Before we get on to discussing the semifinal game and previewing the championship game, this episode is brought to you by Cahaba Brewing Company, spotlighting the Oka Uba IPA. And we will be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock at Cahaba for the tap room, in the tap room for a watch party, conference championship watch party. So tell everybody, tell your friends. Weather is going to be great tomorrow, knock on wood. But yeah, come on down to 2 o'clock. They've also got other things going on with their Shamrock vendor market too. So it's going to be a great time. I would suggest getting there a little early. I think 2 or 2:15 is tip. Let me see.
Well, it's not going to be a delay. It shouldn't be a delay this time. So right. It should be 2.
It should be, yeah. So I would suggest getting there at least 10 minutes early just to be safe.
And you've been told we're going to be on the inside.
Yes.
I have family coming to town, so unfortunately, this was already like prearranged. So I will be telling everybody at my house to shut up while I watch the game, right? Yeah. But I still got to be present for my family. But
100%.
John has already talked to the people at Cahaba. They told him they're going to be on the inside. Shouldn't be any delays, so we don't have to wait on another team to clear the court or anything like that. So it should start on time, right?
Right, exactly. And no bad weather to end it early. So, hey, this is going to be a great time. And I should have led it with the episode. Hopefully everybody's safe. I think for the majority of our listener base, the bad stuff kind of crept northward, which is good. But hopefully, thoughts and prayers for everybody, because this was weather-wise, this was not looking good. Even this morning.
It'd be cool on the playback. We were just talking about the weather, and then I don't think nobody paid attention, but I guess where Jimmy is sitting at, it's the window right behind him is just like lit up with the lightning flash.
Ooh.
Look at Jimmy.
I did that on purpose.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, hey, we need to make this really quick because I don't want to see him get struck.
Yeah, what am I doing? Actually, this is not very smart.
You're supposed to be away from the window.
This is not a good idea. No.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just get into it. Hey, but again, Cahaba, shout out, sponsoring the pod, and we will see you guys at Cahaba tomorrow. But hey, UAB gets it done over North Texas, 66-56. Now, granted, we should have kicked that ass. Like it should be a 20-point win, but North Texas just kept on creeping in there. I would be lying to say that I never thought we would lose, because there was a couple times I was like, oh man, this, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Especially at the Super Pit, New Year's Eve, we blew a 17-point lead. But credit to the guys finding a way. Credit to the staff for finding a way to get it done in double-digit fashion over a really good North Texas Mean Green team. I mean, enjoy it in the NIT North Texas. That, a really good team. But hey, we got to start with Yaxel Lindeborg with this up, and we already did. But in a sense, 23 points, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Yax just give him the ball. You saw it on the broadcast. Give me the ball. I believe he was talking to AJ, but he don't care. If he's hurt and not 100%, give him the ball. He's gonna make plays. And just shout out to Yaxel Lindeborg again. I mean, he is improving his draft stock tremendously. You know, we thought the 30-pointer career high last night in the quarterfinals was something. Semis, 23 points, hurt toe, just dominating. Guys, like he's going to be in that lottery pick for a first round discussion for the NBA. Probably not lottery pick, but shout out to the Blazers.
He is going number one in the NBA draft.
He's number one in our heart, baby. Hey, let's go, man. But yeah,
hey. It was a lot of times. So many times he does get compared statistical wise. He does get compared to Cooper Flag, right? The only players that's leading their teams in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, and Yax doesn't turn the ball over. So it's like 2011 LeBron James type of stuff. Like you lead your team in like every statistical category. That's really impressive, man. But first of all, it's always love and respect to North Texas, right? It's like one of these adversaries that we see all the time. It's usually it's always close. But that team, they make you sweat, man. They make you sweat. Like they're never out of it. They are scrappy, man. They when they cut it to 4, I'm like, bro. All of a sudden, our guys couldn't hang on to the ball, got slippery, right? Like I'm like, what are we doing? And then they started pushing the ball and making tough layups, and they are very efficient. If you make a mistake, I said that our last pod said they are a horrible playmaking team. They do not cook. Don't put them in the kitchen. They cannot cook, but they feast off of mistakes. They feast off of them. You saw on the miscommunication on switches. They were whoop, whoop, every time. I'm like, dude. We were up 16, and then there we go. We were up 10. Just like that, they cut it because guys didn't talk. I saw one on the inbounds play. When they cut it to 6, the point guard, it was another guy caught on the screen. You leave them open, they make it. But they have to have their offense generated. And if you mess up, they will take advantage of that. And also, they're very proficient on offensive boards, right? They're very physical. We don't have the biggest team, and I'm pretty sure we'll circle back around to it because I was a little upset about the offensive boards. I'm like, who's gonna help Yax get a freaking rebound, man? But we can talk about that later. I don't want to harp on the negatives, just the positives that we were able to overcome. Right, we played good defense and we got physical. Shout out to Jabari McGee. I felt like at a critical time he was the one that was able to get us going. Right. He started going downhill, getting into the chest of their players. And McGee is built like I would love to see McGee play football. I'm pretty sure he could probably start on the team or whatever. But I would like to see him play football, man. He's built like a good, strong safety, solid running back. So when he decides that he has some space and some room and he wants to get downhill, if you're smaller than him, he can big boy you. He can bully you. And I know we're going to give all the love. Yak deserves all the love. He carried us. But McGee, I think it was telling at the end when we gave Yaks the ball at the top of the key and he drove down North Texas players, cut off his ankle. He gave that ball up to McGee. And McGee was able to get downhill, jump stop, and got fouled, got in the lane. And the first thing I thought, I was like, it seems like it's two players that he really trusts on this team. Jabari McGee and Butter Johnson. That play when he skipped it over to Butter in the corner and Butter closed out on the North Texas defender, dropped it off to Ezra for the dunk. We went up 10 or 12, something like that. I was like, man, he trusts Butter to make the right play, right? And he trusts Jabari. So I think it's cool that Jabari has earned this trust. He's playing the best basketball. He's peaking. He's peaking. Like early on, he had a lot of quiet games. Remember, I was like, man, what's going on? But now he's found it. I feel like he's found his mark. And hopefully, you remember he had a really, really good game against Memphis last time. He kind of was carrying us. hopefully that carries over. Hopefully yaks that toe. We got whatever illegal. We're not trying to be ethical. Where hey, whatever illegal medicine he needs to take, please take it. Whatever steroids that's
What you
not
trying to say? What you trying to say, bro?
whatever steroids that's not NCAA approved, we don't care about that. Nobody will know. Take it. We just
What's
trying
the
to win the
NCAA?
game.
What's the NCAA? I'm just kidding. No, do not do that.
Take whatever you need to, Yaks. We will be
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, we'll give you some toes. Jimmy, just what are your initial thoughts about tonight's game?
Well, I just think about the magnitude of the game and the opportunity. This is a game in which UAB entered as the underdog, 2.5-point underdog in essentially the backyard of North Texas, an opponent that UAB, we've talked about it, is very familiar with. And, metric wise, this is a North Texas team that's around 60 in the net, top 75-ish in Ken Palm. They're a team that I think went on the road to Minnesota in non-conference and, challenged themselves a little bit in non-con. And so, and they just play that style of ball that, we talked about in the last podcast that, you're going to be in for a fight. It's going to be like sitting in the dentist chair again. But just the magnitude of this opportunity, and it speaks volumes to Andy Kennedy and this basketball staff and this team, and that what is this, the third straight year in which UAB's made it to the conference championship game, fourth straight. Am I losing? We won one, then we went to the championship game, lost to FAU, then we beat Temple. So 4 straight years in which UAB basketball has made it to the conference championship game in terms of an appearance is really crazy.
Is that first one you're talking about? Is that Quan Jackson, Micah Ertl?
It should have been La Tech. There was the La Tech win, then the FAU loss, then the Temple win, and now against Memphis.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you just see, the winning continue, playing the best ball in March, and you're setting yourself up for the stage that we'll talk about in a moment. I wanted to talk about, you mentioned Jabari McGee, Darian. How big was that shot that he hit with the shot clock going down? They had to go review it. UAB was up 4, and it looked like everything, which was true, everything had fallen to pieces. All momentum was in North Texas's favor. And McGee, who we've seen grow and grow and grow over the course of the last month or so, hits that big shot to give UAB a 7-point lead with 2:16 remaining. And then just weird stuff started happening. I wrote down my notes that Lorient on the next possession steps on the sideline that turns it over. Yaxel had the spin move and the finger roll layup. And then it looked like Atten Wright had turned the ball over on the baseline. They call a foul on Tony. I don't know what happened there. Atten Wright gets 2 free throw makes. He's one of the best free throw shooters in the country. But then I think it was a play that you were just talking about a moment ago where Yaks had given it up and to McGee, and McGee made again, like he's just putting pressure on the rim all night. And we were talking about in our text thread about McGee's advantage specifically against, is it Latrell Jostle as well as Atten Wright, just from a size advantage. And so he did what he was supposed to do. He got to the free throw line. He hit 1 of 2, put UAB up by 8 with just over a minute remaining. And then you just had continued silly stuff. You had the turnover and CC to Tony. He smokes the layup. And then, it just everything seemed like it was going to be wild.
Christian Coleman threw the ball to I don't know where he threw the ball to.
But then Tony did the same thing. Like he was trying to save. I guess he's trying to save the ball from going out of bounds, but he just casually
let it go. Like
what the hell? Yeah.
It was just silly, and that's what North Texas will do to you. We talked yesterday about what they did to Tulsa to start the second half, and they put the clamps on you and they take you completely out of rhythm. And they just will make you do stuff. But even despite all of that, UAB in this game still turned the ball over only 8 times. We talked yesterday about what might need to happen for UAB to win this game. UAB defensively, I thought, played really well. It will come down to North Texas's, guards had not played a good game until Atten Wright late in the ball game was able to make a couple. But UAB, Yaxel Lindenborg was getting his hand on some block shots. I thought Christian Coleman contested a few at the rim as well. And so despite our perimeter shooting not being as well as we'd like to, I thought that the guys played really hard and they needed to win this ball game. And so that's going to kind of transition us next likely to start to think about what the next game has to hold. Because speaking of familiar opponents, here we go. We're going to see Memphis for the third time this season, a team that we hate,
Yes.
and they disrespect and they act like they, being Memphis fans, don't take us seriously. But they get up for these games against UAB. They will be up for this game. It's my personal opinion that they kind of sleepwalk through a lot of their conference games, and they will act like they're going to sleepwalk against us. But they are going to be, in my mind, they're going to bring it 100 tomorrow. They're not thinking about, oh, we've already got ourselves in the dance. They've got individual battles with the Danger and the Yaks, which we'll talk about, that whole, storyline going into it. But Memphis fans and this Memphis basketball team, they respect UAB. They just don't want to admit it.
Well, before we move on to close out North Texas, this is a healthy rivalry, I guess. We respect North Texas, and the majority of fans from North Texas respects UAB. I made a comment earlier in the episode, like enjoying the NIT. That was not a slight. Hey, I don't even know if UAB gets in the NIT if we lose tomorrow. That was not a slight. I hate the style of basketball they play at North Texas, but I respect the hell out of it. But Memphis, on the other hand, no respect, zero respect. Darren,
Don't like them.
hey Darren, does Memphis scare you? Does Memphis scare you?
No.
Don't ask me that question.
Yeah. I want Memphis. I done said this over and over.
Hey.
I want Memphis. One thing that I was watching that Tulane game.
Yeah.
And they were doing the things that I was talking about. I was like, it was just like knowing your personnel. They cut off those driving angles and they packed the paint. Jourdain couldn't make a shot. You saw Haggerty struggle. Haggerty was like 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 from 3, right? It was one play, they literally was like, and they just let him shoot. Like they literally just walked back and was like, whatever, dude. If you're gonna take a three, you're gonna hit a three. That's how y'all gonna win. And he bricked it. They struggled on the offensive rebound. They do this thing. Memphis will go with Danger, and they would go with Cisco or whatever, non-shooters, right? PJ Haggerty, non-shooter, but they're so big down low, and they can get offensive rebounds. And it just make it tough. And we're talking about McGee and his rim pressure. Jimmy mentioned that there's nobody in the conference and not too many people in the country that's better at rim pressure than PJ Haggerty. Like when he get down, he's very quick, he's strong, he's a good finisher, and he is a grifter, a foul baiter. I do not like that style of basketball at all. But he will get downhill and he's searching for contact. And he get his whistle, man. He gets like the best whistle in all of college, bro. Like they always call it fouls for this dude. Go under every screen, play off, cut off those driving angles. They have Travis. I think his name is Travis Hunter. Is it Travis Hunter? I'm not thinking about the football player. That is his name, right? Their starting point guard. It's Hunter, number 11.
It's Tyrese. I think he played at Texas previously.
Okay, Tyrese Hunter. He's an important player for them because he's a good shooter. Him and Rogers, and I believe what's the other guy coming off the bench, number 7, Carter, PJ Carter.
PJ Carter.
They're like the 3 shooters that they have, right? Just stick to those guys. Everybody else, I'm like, dude, just pack the paint, man. Cut off driving angles against PJ Haggerty. I think we have a real shot because they have real weaknesses. I get scared when they decide they're gonna run and they're gonna go in transition. When they do that, they're pretty hard to stop because you're not going against a set defense. But they're gonna try to run. They're gonna try to get downhill. Our guys are gonna be challenged with, we can't do this stuff. I noticed that sometimes we go for rebounds and then we kind of just be like, no, go, like get back on defense. If we don't play mentally fast and get back on defense, they're gonna run, especially in the second half, and they're gonna get layups against us, and we're gonna get fouls, and Dane Danger is gonna be, looking, doing that ugly, stupid stuff that he does, talking noise. But if we just stay on our P's and Q's, bro, I promise you we can win this game. I know nobody else will believe to the point that I believe. They do
I
not
believe.
scare me.
Do
They
you
don't.
believe?
I
You
look at
know,
this game and they just don't scare me like that. I'm sorry, their roster is not some kind of juggernauts, man.
And they're
They're
not
they're not.
100%. Like they're fighting like we are. Yax isn't 100%. Like Danger's not 100%. Um, I mean, UAB has a damn good opportunity, and it'll be interesting to see the spread. I don't think there is one right now. Hold on, let me refresh.
people say that it's hard to beat
No.
a team 3 times in one season. No, it's not in one season. But you know why I fear Memphis? Because they beat us 16 straight times.
Stop!
You know how hard it is to beat a team over a decade, 16 straight times over the course of how many seasons that was? No, but I look at the matchup in particular, and Darren hit on it. That's what scares me the most is the battle inside. The fact that we saw what happened at Bartow Arena where Yax was in foul trouble, and that took him completely out of the game. The way that Cisse, that combination of Cisse and Danger in the game at the same time is a matchup in which, you're either going to have a real physical, good, solid game by Christian Coleman, or you're going to have another good game from Ezewiro, who in 2 matchups against Memphis this season, I think has certainly garnered the respect of the Memphis coaching staff, and he's a player to watch. Specifically if either Christian Coleman or Yaxel Lindebor get into foul trouble. But ultimately, can UAB win this game? Absolutely. Will they have to play an A+ game? Maybe not. Are they going to have to play A- to A? Probably. Yeah, I think they're going to have to do that. So they don't have to be perfect in this game because Memphis is not. It's not the same Derrick Rose led, Memphis Tigers that came into Bartow Arena. But this is a very quality opponent, and yeah, wouldn't that just be just? I know we're probably getting relatively close to wrapping up, but wouldn't that be just the perfect story for Yaxel Lindebor? Like, let me paint this picture real quick. Like, if this were to happen, like in the dream scenario. First of all, you had the whole Danger and Yax thing this season. Dange just got him twice. He was letting him know during and after the game at Bartow Arena. But if Yax is able to punch that ticket to the big dance, against Memphis, and what if I threw this? What about the other thing that Yax has been chasing forever? What if Yax were to get a triple double against Memphis and punch that ticket to the dance? Speaking that storyline, let's just speak it into existence. I tried to speak it into existence before the game of Bartow. It didn't happen, obviously. But in all seriousness, let's just hope that on the UAB side, that foul trouble does not take a guy like a Yaxel Lindebor out of this game, and that we're able to see UAB put up an incredible performance and go back to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd time in a row. And what would that be? How many times we just talked about it a second ago? 3 out of the last 4 seasons, whatever it is. So fingers crossed, man.
John, I would say this. What do you think is your key? If y'all would have to say what is our key to win this game?
So I mean, the obvious, y'all talked about it, the battle inside. Is it a middle thing with Yax going up against Danger? Who's going to win the battle inside? Because if Danger has a double like at halftime, like he did against UAB and Bartow, it's done. But I'm gonna go. Obviously, that's a really big point. Our emphasis on UAB possibly winning this game, or UAB winning this game. But we need Butta, AJ, Vasquez to step up. The guard play, the shooting. Jimmy sent us a text during the game in the second half, and those were combined. They were dropping shots. Like Butta ended with 4 points, 2 of 8 from the field. AJ 3 of 8 from the field, 6 points. Guys, we've got to have guards. Jabari's doing his thing, but we have to have Butta and AJ step up in this game.
I wonder if we get our old reliable that just comes through. He loves these games. Y'all know who I'm talking about, and that's Butta. I don't think Butta has had the consistent year that we expect. I think we expect him to take this leap because I was thinking about it as the game was going. I was like, man, Butta has so many moments last year. It was kind of like it wasn't. I was feeling like, please get the ball in his hands. Like I remember going against PJ Haggerty when they went to Tulsa last year, and Butter was just cooking. Like it's so many clutch moments that Butter was just cooking. And it's always like big games, right? He tends to like come alive. I don't know what happens to his shot in these games, but they go in. If we get that Butter, that guy that can come off the screens, mid range, bam, come off these screens, contested 3-pointer in your face, bam. If we get that guy, and defensively, I just defensively, please, guys, play off for Haggerty for the love of Christ. Play off of Haggerty, CC, Christian Coleman. Do not chase Nick Jordan. The dude cannot shoot. Play off of him, help down, and box out. If we can box out, play physical, play fast, and stick to our keys on defense, we can win this game. I think Yax is going to be ready for it. Yax get Danger out on the perimeter, guys. He gonna mix him up. Like I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about Danger on that offense. Like he's a good finisher. He's a big body. I am worried about him if we're not packing the paint and doubling and showing them multiple bodies, and we're just kind of like we do this thing. If a team get to playing fast and physical, we kind of get wide eyed and kind of just I don't know. We just like lose our nuts. I think he can have a big game. Like he can have a big game on us. If Danger is having 25 and 15, like John said, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. But if we can pack the paint, stick to our keys, and Butter is the guy I'm looking at. I trust Butter. I believe in Butter. I believe in room. Is it room temp?
Room temp, baby. Not no cold, Butter. Room temp, baby.
I believe in room temp Butter, and if Butter can have 14 points or more, I believe we win this game.
Hey, real talk. After that episode that we talked about the room temp Butter, Elizabeth was like, "I told you that," and I said, "My bad."
Oh, you took it. You didn't credit your wife.
Hey, I said, "Hey, I'm sorry, man." All right, Jimmy. Any last thoughts? We are well over, but if you have just some last thoughts, we can do that and wrap.
Oh man, let's wrap it up.
Okay. All right, guys. We will see hopefully tomorrow night for a championship recap, and we're talking about our figuring out who we're gonna face in the NCAA tournament. But
please,
hey,
let's go.
It's time to beat Memphis. Go Blazers.